In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing horse cake. We have a template ready for you to download, which makes it really simple to carve out the shape. I'm Claire St Quinton, so let's get going. To start off with, I've got two 10-inch square cakes. The first thing we need to do is we just need to take the tops off them to level them slightly. So I've got a cake leveler here, which I've set to the right height. You can adjust it. And you just cut along, and that just takes the top off that one. And then just repeat with this one. That keeps them nice and flat, okay? And then I've got a 14-inch square board here, which I'm going to put them straight onto rather than a shaped horse cake board. So I just start by putting some of the frosting onto the board to act as a glue. Then I put my first one on. Now, bearing in mind, you've got to put the ears on this. So when I shape this, the ears are not included initially. So I'm just going to bring it down slightly, just so we've got room for the ears on the top there. And then take some frosting and cover the whole cake. So once the cake's covered, we put the other one on top. Now I actually just turn it around like that. So I've got more of a smooth top to work with. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got a template for the horse's head. This template is available on this tutorial for you to download. So just download it, print it out, and then stick it together with some sellotape and then cut it out. And you'll see that it just sits nicely on the cake, but without the ears. The ears are separate. So take a carving knife and start very simply by literally just going vertically and cutting around the template. So we're going to start by taking this section off here, just up and down motion, just to start the shape. And then get rid of that there. Now, when you're cutting this, one thing to bear in mind is you are going to need some of this excess for your ears. So don't sort of hack away at it in little sections. Do try and cut it off in each bit in one large chunk like I'm doing here. Because this section here, by taking it away at a large chunk like that, I can actually use that to create the ears. So I'm just going to finish off around the nose here. So as you can see, it starts off very simple. And then here, I'm just going to use it just to cut out an ear. There's one bit. And place that there. And then I'm going to cut another bit out for the other ear. And it also means it's the same height as well, which is useful. Okay, and then we just pop that one there. And then as for this bit, you don't need this anymore, so you can eat it or throw it out. Okay, so now we've got our basic horse shape. So if I remove that, you can see it's slightly looking like a horse, not quite there yet though. So what we need to do now is we need to actually look at the horse here, because the great thing about this template is it actually has the lines of the horse on it. So first of all, what we want to do is just think of this as being a real horse. So rather than it being flat and square like this, we just want to start rounding it off a bit. So here, for example, where the mane is, we just want to slightly start taking a little bit off, and do this slowly, a little bit at a time, just to round him off slightly. And then keep putting the template back on and think, right, well here we've got his jawline. So when you take that off, if you want to, you can just sort of slightly score it like that, because obviously you're going to throw this template away anyway. So if you want to just score it, and then I can see there on the actual cake where I need to score round, like so. And then what you do is you just want to take a little bit out here, like that. So he's got more of a jawline. And as I said, do this slowly, take your time. If you want to look, whilst you're doing this, at some pictures of some real horses, just Google it, and it really helps you to sort of see the shape. Like so. And then looking again, we've got another line here. And this is because a horse's neck is quite muscular. So if you look at a real picture of a horse, you can see that there are these kind of indentations. So bear that in mind and do something very similar here. So you just want to take out a bit of a ridge here, like so. And what that will do is that will come together when you start putting the paste on. And you'll see it shows the sort of muscular neck of the horse, like so. Okay, then pop it back on again. And then here, we're looking at the lines again. So we've got another line here, and it's the same again. So we just want to slightly take a little bit out here, like so. And then going round, we just want to round him off. And don't worry and stress too much about it on this section here, because you are going to be covering it with a mane. And then the same around the mouth, anywhere where there's a line like that on the template, just cut a little bit out of the cake, like so. And then we just want to round off the jawline here, like that. So it's nice and simple, just rounding it off. Another one here. And then finally, the eye. So I'm going to pop this back on, and I can see where the eye is. All I'm going to do, and just be careful when you do this, is I'm just going to poke through with my knife into the paper, so I've kind of pinpointed where the eye is. And then I'm just going to cut, sort of hollow it out, hollow the eye out like so. Like that. And then once you've done all that, just step back and look at it and think, is it starting to look like a horse? And if there's any bits you think, oh, I just want to round that off, and just make sure that you're happy with it. Now I'm happy with this. I think it's looking good. It's looking like a horse. So once you've done that, there's one final step, and that is you just want to cover the whole thing in buttercream or frosting. I'm not using ganache for this because it's not a real structural cake. I don't think there's any need to actually use something as strong as ganache. You can just use normal buttercream just to seal the cake. So just spread it all over every single part of the cake until it's completely covered. Okay, so that's the last of the buttercream on there. Just make sure you cover the whole thing. And then once you've done that, what you do is, what I'm going to do is have a clean down of all the bits and pieces, because the next thing is to start rolling out our sugar paste. Now we come to covering the cake. I've already rolled out my icing, and I've used the Sattina Super Smooth, which is a gorgeous icing. It's so easy to use and so soft, and you can roll it quite thin, which is great for this kind of cake because we don't want to lose the indentations that we've carved out of it. So I've rolled it to about 5mm thick, and then this is a really good tip for you when you're covering cakes, is always bring the cake to you. So I'm going to get my rolling pin, and I'm going to fold the sugar paste over my rolling pin, and then I'm going to bring the cake to me rather than drag the paste over to the cake. And then you just want to make sure it's all covered like so, and just drop it over like that. Okay, so then I've got a couple of tools here. I've got a regular smoother and I've got my Bellissimo Flexi Smoothers, but I've also got my hands. Your hands are a great tool for initial smoothing, making sure we haven't got any air bubbles. So we start off in the center and just start to bring the paste down and around, just making sure that we haven't got any gaps and it's all covered. So if you do have an air bubble, just lift the paste up and just push it out. Or if you can't do that, you can use a really, really thin needle that's obviously been sterilised. And what's amazing about this paste in particular is it's so easy to smooth. If you get any folds of sugar paste as you're smoothing it down, it just smooths out so well. So to start off with, I'm going round the basic shape, and then just here, this is probably going to be the most trickiest bit of this cake, is just going around the ears. So, but this paste is super stretchy. It doesn't crack and you don't get that elephant skin. So when you're doing delicate things like here where you've got the ears and you really want to sort of push in without tearing the paste, this paste is fabulous for that because it is so stretchy. And then we start off by just taking off the excess all the way around the outline. And then here in the ears, you just want to try and get in there, take off that excess. Like so. Making sure you haven't got any folds, which you won't have because the paste is so good at smoothing out. Okay, now we've got our initial smoothing done with our hands, we can start to use our tools to make a more professional finish. So we can use a normal smoother just to go around the edging like this and get into sort of them little nooks and crannies of the horse's mouth, like so. And then again round the nose, just bring it round, smooth it on, making sure that there's no gaps at the bottom, exposing any cake, like so. And then once you've sort of gone round like that and you've really sealed the base of the cake, you then take your knife and just trim more closely to the actual cake, getting rid of that excess sugar paste. Okay, just put my paste to one side. Right, now, this is where we bring the template back in, because what we want to do is we want to recreate these carved bits, like, for example, the jawline and the muscles in the neck. So there's different ways of doing this. Again, using your hands or using the smoothers, whatever works for you. Try both and see how you get on. So again, we're following these lines that are on our template, which is what we carved out earlier. So I tend to use sort of the side of my hand. It's a really, really good tool, the side of your hand, to smooth in. Obviously, make sure you don't have long nails that are going to tear the paste. So do be careful if you do have long nails. But can you see, by using your hand like that, you're starting to recreate that shape that you carved out earlier of the muscle in the horse's neck? And then the same again. So this jawline that the horse has. So just using the side of your hand just to recreate that jawline. Okay, and then again, just find where the eye is, and you just want to poke it in. And again, this sugar paste is so great because it's so stretchy and doesn't tear, that you can poke that in without tearing your paste. But again, just watch it if you've got long nails. If you've got long nails, you might want to use a ball tool just to pop that hole in there. And then again, we're just following that line here, just to get that long face look. And then the same here. It's just the muscles. It's just the way the horse looks, and it just brings a little bit of realism to it. Like so. And then we just want to go around here, where you've got the eye section here. We just want to make sure that that's shown. Like that. And then here for the nostril. So I'm just using my finger just to create that indentation for the nostril. And then the mouth. Just use your thumbs and your fingers. Okay, so, and then we just want to work on the ears slightly. So obviously we want them a little bit more pointed. So we're just going to manipulate this paste again, just to make them a little bit more pointed. Okay, now, so we've got our initial shape. Okay, so I'm just going to trim around the ears. Just now I'm happy with the shape of them, just to get rid of that excess. Like that. Okay, and then finally, use your flexi smoothers just to neaten off the edging. This is more about finishing it on the board. So just neaten it off on the board. So you've got a nice neat edge all the way around. And also what's really good about this is we're making a horse's head, as in a normal horse, where you can put reins on it if you like. For someone that likes riding, you can maybe put a rosette on it. But you could also put a multicoloured mane on it and put a horn on it and make it into a unicorn. It's a fabulous cake, this. It's very versatile. So as you can see, this is already starting to look like a horse and is looking really good. But we want to take it just one step further and get it to look really realistic by adding a little bit more of the details. So the first thing I'm going to do is the eye. So what I've got is I've just got some black sugar paste and I've rolled it into a ball, roughly a grape-sized amount. And then I'm just going to roll it so it's just slightly more of an oval, not too much. And then I'm just going to pop it in to the hole that we created like that. Okay, and then what we want to do, just so it doesn't look like a beady eye, we want to create more detail, is I'm going to take some of my white sugar paste that we used earlier and I'm just going to roll it into a long sausage like that, going slightly thinner towards the end, like so. And then I'm just going to place that on top of the eye on that side, and then similar again, where we take a little bit, roll it into a sausage, and then again slightly thinner on the edges, like so. And then we're just going to pop that, let's roll it a bit longer, on the underside of the eye like that. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to blend this in. So I use a Dresden tool, and all I'm doing is I'm just blending that down so it smooths onto the paste, like so. And just keep working at it and just keep smoothing it to hide the join. And there we go, and we just finish it off to a nice point at the back of the eye and at the front of the eye. And always remember, you can refer back to pictures of real horses if this helps you. So one more thing for the eye, and that is to get that realistic shine on it, to really bring the horse to life. So I've got some glaze spray, and I'm just going to spray some into a little pot, like so. And then all we do is we take a brush and just load the brush up with the glaze spray. And you're just going to paint it on like this. Just put a little bit more on, and instantly you've got that amazing shine on the horse's eye. There we go, looks amazing. Okay, so it's carrying on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just work down the nose, and again using our template, we're just going to go a little bit more in with our shaping, and I'm actually going to use the Dresden tool for this bit, just to go in a little bit more, just to create that shape. A horse's face is actually quite veiny, so I'm just going in a bit more with the shape here. Okay, and then across the forehead as well. Just really sort of bring it to life. And then I want to work on the mouth, so I'm just going to turn this around so you can see this. So mouth and nostrils. Now I'm going to take a little bit of sugar paste, a little bit like what we did for the eye. Just roll it into a sausage. And I'm just going to stick that in like a C shape, if you like, or a U shape, to where the nostril is. And then using your Dresden tool, just smooth it down to start with, just so the outer edge, if you like, of the nostril is smoothed down. By doing this, you're just giving another sort of dimension to the horse. So that's what you do to start with, is just smooth that down. So you've got rid of that join. And then you take a bowl tool, and you just want to use that bowl tool to really manipulate the sugar paste around where you've just put it to create that nostril, and just bring it round like so. And next we move on to the mouth. So the mouth, again, you've got a bit of a mouth shape there, but you just want to open it up a little bit more and make it look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just using the wide end of the Dresden tool. Be careful not to cut right into it, obviously, and expose the cake. But you just want to, I'm just going to pinch the sugar paste a little bit on his mouth, because a horse has got quite nice lips. So I just want to create that on the lips here. And straight away, you can sort of see his mouth coming together like so. And then again, it's just a case of creating a bit more veining all along the horse's face. Just a few little veining bits like this really help to bring it to life. And just sweeping actions using your Dresden tool like so. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the ears, and I want to make these look hollow, like a realistic ear. So I'm going to actually use the sugar paste to do this, as opposed to cutting holes in it. So I'm just going to manipulate it. So all we do is look at your template, and you can see where the hollow is of the ear. And all I'm doing is I'm just pressing in with my thumb, and I'm just pinching the sugar paste on the edge like that. And it just brings that kind of hollow into the ear and that sharp edge without having to do any cutting, like so. And then I'm going to do the same on this one. So all I'm doing is I'm just pressing the edge of the paste like so, and then just sort of use your finger to press in like that. And it's just a bit of manipulation like so. And don't forget, you are going to have a mane going around the ears. It's just to get that sort of opening there to start with, like so. And again, we're going to be dusting in there as well. So, and that's it, like so. Now we're going to move on to doing the dusting on the cake and really bringing the horse to life with some colouring. So I've got some black and some white powders. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry dust this cake. So no rejuvenator or alcohol involved. It's all done dry. And it's basically, we're just creating a grey. So what we're going to do is I've got an array of brushes, depending on what detail I'm doing. I'm going to start off doing the easier, bulkier bit, so the nuzzle of the horse. So I'm using a big brush for that. And what I want to do is I want to get some of the white and then add a little bit of the black into it. You can put black directly onto the cake, but I'm a little bit nervous about going in too dark. So I'm going to just mix it with a bit of white to start with. You do all this away from the cake on some kitchen roll. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn the cake around so you can see it, because I'm doing the bottom of the cake. Okay. And then I'm just building it up slowly, just using the brush around the horse's nuzzle. Okay, so now I've got a little bit of a base colour just on the tip there. I'm just going to start to build it up a little bit. So I'm going to get a slightly smaller brush now and get a little bit more black in there so it's a little bit darker. And remember to go slowly with this because you can add, but you can't take it away. And then I'm just going to go into the horse's nostril like that, and then just get it a little bit darker. Like so. And that contrast really starts to bring the horse to life. Okay, and then in with the mouth as well. So I'm just going to go a little bit darker in here into the horse's mouth like that. Okay, and then just very gently, just a more of a grey effect rather than the black. You just want to do a few little bits up and around the indentations that you created, and do this in a sweeping motion, but also just do a little bit of tapping on there as well, a little bit of dabbing, and just bring it up into the indentations, and then a little bit more around the nostril. Okay, now I'm just going to move to working around the jawline. So you just bring in the brush strokes around. And do refer back to your template anytime if you're not sure where really you want the lines to be. I'm just going to come around here like that. The few little patches here and there on the horse, just to give it a little bit of shadow. And I'm going to move back onto my bigger brush now because I just want to do quite a large area on the neck here. So just brushing in there. And remember, you can build it up. So start off quite light, because you can build it up. Okay. Around the edge in here, anywhere where you want a bit of shade. Okay, now I'm going to work on the eye. So what I want to do is I want to use a slightly smaller brush again and just start to build up a bit of colour around the eye. So just sweep it around the creases of the eye. And then what I want to do is take a really, really fine brush and just put a little bit of that into my black. So load the brush up with the black and then just dab it off. Because then I want to just go inside there. And what that does is it creates a little bit of an effect of eyelashes. And it just helps bring the horse's eye to life by just putting a few little darker strokes on it, like so. And then again, just keep stepping back, having a look, making sure that you're happy with it. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn it around again so you can see what I'm doing with the ears. Okay, so to create a bit more of a realistic look on the ears, we just want to dust within where we earlier pinched the sugar paste. So don't put any on the ridge here because that's the white tip. What you want to do is you want to put it on the inside, like so, and just create that nice darkness on the inside. And then the same on the other one. Without putting any on the ridge. Okay, and then you sort of step back, have a look at it, make sure that you're happy with it. And if there's any places you want to just build up, I just want to go a little bit down here on the bottom of the nostrils, and then just have a look around. Bear in mind that we're going to be covering this bit in the mane. I just want to put a little bit on the end here. Just turn it around so you can see it. Because what I want to do is I just want to give like a bit of an indication of there being the side eye there on the horse, on that bit that stands out there. Okay, and then if you're happy with it, then that's that bit done, and we're ready to move on to putting the mane on. For the mane, I'm using normal sugar paste, so the Sattina Super Smooth sugar paste. And what's great about this paste is it stays softer for longer. So this is here's one I made earlier. I've already made all of the strands, but I'm just going to make one now to show you how I did it. It's very simple. Just take some of the paste, which is really nice and stretchy, and then just take it, roll it into a bowl, and then literally you just roll it into a sausage, and then slightly thinner to one end, but you can actually just pull it like that and stretch it and take that bit off. And then you've got that nice straight bit there that goes to a point. Okay, so I've made loads, and I'm just going to take some edible glue or some boiled cooled water, and I'm just going to brush on the sides of the cake where the mane's going to go, just to hold them in position. I want them quite nice and loose, like quite a long fringe for the horse. So you sort of place it on in position and then press it in between the ears. And then same again. So nice and loose and flowing. So he's got a nice fringe. And of course, if you were to make a unicorn, you could make all these strands different colours, all the colours of the rainbow, and make a really pretty unicorn. So just make it so they're slightly bent and wavy, almost like an S shape, like that. And then just keep building and keep going along all the way down until you're happy. So as you come to the end, I'm just going to turn the cake slightly, just so you can see just the edge bit here. And you just want to keep going along the edge here. Final few strands, like so. Okay. So there we have it. So that's the mane done. I'll just turn it around so you can see it. It looks absolutely beautiful, so pretty. So there's just one last thing to do on this cake, and that is to finish it off by putting the ribbon around the board. So I've already got my double-sided sticky tape on the board, and I'm just bringing it around. And this really, really helps to finish a cake off, like so. And then when I get to the end, I'm just going to trim that. Like so. Right, and there we have it, our finished horse cake. What's really great about this cake is that you can personalize it to the person who's having the cake. You can put some reins on it if they're really into their horse riding, or you can even put a rosette on it if there's someone that likes to compete. Or, as I said earlier, you can make the mane bright colours and you can put a horn on it and turn it into a unicorn. So I really hope I've inspired you to have a go.